Good morrow, fellow humans. My name is Sean and I am obsessed with infinity. So join me as I attempt to unpick the infinities of what is.
Currently, we understand the universe to be around 13.8 billion years old. And so, an obvious upshot is that there can't be any starlight that predates this age of the universe. And so it's this very fact that reveals to us why even the observable universe's previously declared 93 billion light-year diameter is still not the end. Simply because anything that we can describe as being observable from our vantage point in space must reside within a 13.8 billion year old light horizon. Now, this is a fairly well-known and relatively easy concept to understand, so we'll just do a quick refresher. Due to the finite speed of light, the further away a light source is, the longer it must have taken for its light to reach us. And so the further abroad we look, the older the light. And so when we begin to identify starlight, whose age is now approaching the age of the universe, what we're seeing is the actual light that was emitted at the birth of starlight. This was a mere 400,000 years after the Big Bang. And so this boundary to our line of sight, what we call the observable universe, doesn't in any way suggest that space or time ends on these horizons, as it is with any horizon, such as one seen in a boat surrounded by water. As we move, our horizon will move with us. However, it is nonetheless upon this illusory boundary where we do reach the edge of our confirmed knowledge, and the first of many such shorelines of understanding. A description of the universe past this boundary is one that we're at least fairly sure exists, but in what forms or how much further the universe expands in its current state is a question still in hot debate. Some experts estimate a mere 250 times the size of the observable universe, where others suggest that the universe might be truly infinite. Then there are highly supported theories which step outside of our pool of space and time entirely, suggesting the existence of higher dimensions or even multiverses. And perhaps these ideas are more than just wishful thinking, as the mathematical evidence for such theories is so very impressive that many of our top thinkers, those who tackle these issues daily, hold these ideas in very considerable favour. But either way, what we do seem to be sure about is that our pocket of space-time, it's expanding. And what's more, the expansion is getting faster. But the question that intrigues me is what, where or when is the universe expanding into? Many say that it's not, in fact, expanding into anything because the universe is everything. But as far as I'm concerned, this can be interpreted in two different ways, as it might suggest that the universe as we know it continues infinitely, or that beyond its finite nature exists a true nothingness, which in its own way would exist in an infinite state. But here is where we now have the freedom to dip that first toe into the unknown and to start considering what this idea of infinite expansion might mean for us, the infinitesimal speck upon a speck. Because from our vantage point, we do appear to exist within a vast, endless, ever-expanding and almost totally empty universe. It's utterly empty. In fact, the observable universe is so devoid of matter that if we were to collect all matter residing within it and brought it into a single place, it would only fill a cube 1,000 light years side to side. Now that's a mere 0.00000000000 0.00000000000042% of the known universe. So how are we supposed to feel about such a relationship between the infinite void and an infinitesimal I that sits at our centre? Often, and quite understandably, this image of the universe can leave us feeling, well, small, insignificant, and devoid of meaning, even just blatantly scared. But what must always be remembered is that if reality is indeed infinite, then any representation of scale will only ever be one of a mere finite perspective. For in contrast to these unfathomably large scales, the perspective at the alternate end of scale will show us how we will always be as comparatively grandiose to it as the outer universe is to us.
Thanks very much for joining in again and sharing your little pause in the crazy with me. We've obviously been diving into scale, the idea of scale, the largeness of what is, and now we're slowly getting into the smallness of what is. And the third part coming up next week, we will start to unfold a more metaphysical view as to what the size of the universe will actually mean in terms of a metaphysical and philosophical view of reality, and you'll start to see how this philosophy is going to start to unfold, and I'll give you a chance to really think about it from your own perspective. Apart from that, if you want to hear the whole thing from start to end, that's what the podcast is for. Jump over to Infinite Now with Sean Crowley, wherever you get podcasts, and yeah, great for a bike ride or a walk or a train ride, or I can lull you to sleep with my dulcet tones, but not in a creepy way. That's about it. Thank you very much. Much love, and I hope you have a lovely week. See you later.